What is up, everybody? My name is Justin. This is Forever Self-Employed. In today's video, we're going to be talking about how to land commercial fast food restaurants. I'm actually joined with a special guest, Mike Vidanis, with me. Mike, how's it going, man?
It is going good. Thank you for having me on, Justin.
Absolutely. Before we get into this one, though, if you guys want to learn how Mike lands huge commercial accounts, talks with property managers, and gives himself the best opportunity to land commercial jobs, check out the first link in the comment section and the description. It's going to take you to the next level course where you'll learn about marketing, quoting, scaling, and as we mentioned, how to get commercial work. But without further ado, let's go ahead and hop into this one. So, Mike, I know you guys do a ton of commercial work, but today we want to talk specifically about restaurants and fast food restaurants. So tell us some of the restaurants that you guys clean and what these jobs entail.
We clean a tremendous amount of restaurants. We do route work, which is weekly stuff, but we also clean restaurants usually about once a quarter. A perfect example of this would be some Subways that we clean. There are 4 Subways in the area that are owned by one person, and we clean all of those. We clean the buildings, we clean the sidewalks, we clean the receiving areas. So it's obviously the building and then the concrete. The concrete is obviously one of the most important things because it's the most expansive surface of the area and it gets the dirtiest. So it is very important to restaurants to keep those areas clean. So when you're out there wandering around, going to get food, take a look down at the concrete and take a note and go talk to somebody inside. And we're going to get into that in a little bit about who you talk to and how you go about, scoring these jobs. But that particular restaurant, like I said, we do it 4 times a year. And this actually was generated from one of our residential customers who happen to own 4 of these restaurants. And this is why it's so important to leverage your current customers in order to see what other businesses or opportunities there are for your business. And this gentleman, like I said, happened to own 4 Subways. So he had asked us to give him a quote. On the first one, after we did that, he says, "Hey, I've got 3 more. Please put us on the schedule." So we've been doing that for quite some time, and it is on the books. It's like clockwork. He doesn't even call us. We just show up when we're scheduled. So that is the ideal commercial customer.
I completely agree with that because that's actually how I landed my first commercial job. I was passing out flyers in a neighborhood. A guy wanted me to clean his driveway. I cleaned his driveway, did a good job. And then he said, "Hey, I'm actually the manager of a local store. So can you come out and give me a quote on that?" So I actually landed my first commercial job just through passing out flyers residentially. So I completely agree with that. Leveraging your residential customers. They all work somewhere. They could be managers. They could be owners. Doesn't really matter. It's a good way to leverage. Now, Mike, I know that you don't get all of your commercial accounts this way. So how do you go about finding the right person to talk to in order to get these jobs if you didn't meet them because they were a residential client?
There's 2 ways to go about getting fast food chains when you're dealing with commercial pressure washing. The first is when they are locally owned by an individual. Then there are those stores or restaurants that are owned by the corporation. So they're not a franchise. I focus on the franchisees because they are the ones that are responsible for everything that happens at that location. The corporate locations usually they outsource it and they hire a property management company or some sort of national company that then goes out to all of their stores and tries to solicit bids from guys like me and guys like you that own pressure washing businesses. So what I have found over the course of my career in this industry is the corporate pricing is horrible because it's not going directly from the location to you. It's going from the location to a middleman and then to you. So there's levels in there that are all taking money out of the pot, and that's not where I want to be. We're not going to work for cheap. So that's why I focus on the individual franchisee owners. And that's where we've had the most success. And it's a lot easier to find out who that is because that information is available online if you know how to get to it. You can go into the store. Sometimes there's a plaque. Maybe it's the rating that they get from the Board of Health with the contact information, the name, maybe an address, and that's all information that's right there for you. You can also ask the manager who you need to talk to about cleaning their property. So when you're talking to the manager, it's not their money, right? They're working for somebody else, but they want their location to be clean. They want that restaurant to be clean. People don't like to go into anywhere that's nasty, right? So if you walk in and you say, "Hey, I noticed that your sidewalks are really, dirty. I noticed that the drive-through is dirty. The receiving area kind of smelled when I went through the driveway. I just wanted to come in and tell you that, I own a pressure washing business and we'd love to give you a quote. Who should I talk to about that? 9 times out of 10, they're going to give you the information that you need. And like I said, if you can't find it that way, there's other routes that you can go. And usually, that's the online route where you can find this information if you get very creative. But those are the main ways that I go about locating who to talk to for the commercial work when it comes to restaurants.
Okay, awesome. And I know you've talked a lot with me about doing route work. So can you kind of speak to that and kind of what that entails a little bit?
Sure. So the stuff that we were just talking about, that's usually a one-time, once a year, twice a year type deal, because they don't really see the value as much as other places. And the other places that I'm talking about are maybe a little bit higher end. And these restaurants are not necessarily chains. They're not national, corporately owned places. They could be, but it's like I said, it's more of a high-end establishment or a mid-level establishment, but not a fast food restaurant. And that's where our route work comes from. So we have probably 12 restaurants that we service on a weekly basis on a Sunday morning. These are all mostly in downtown Savannah. So what we do is we roll out every Sunday morning. We've got a big batch of degreaser and we go down to these sidewalks. We fire up the machine. We lay down a thick coating of degreaser and then we get to surface cleaning. It's predominantly sidewalks and dumpster pads. For all of these areas. Some of them we do a little bit of window cleaning. Some of them we, knock off the pollutants from the front of the building. And obviously all of these things, you price accordingly. But the beauty of this type of work is it's consistent. I know that every Sunday we're going to be cleaning these 12 restaurants every single week, and I know what that income is going to be every single month. So it's stuff that you can count on, and that's really great. If you're just starting out and you're not very consistent, you might want to think about trying to find a couple little restaurants around your area. Go in there, talk to them about their dumpster pads, talk to them about the receiving areas, talk to them about the sidewalks, give them a price, and then start building on that. That's how we started. We started with about 6. And then it got big. I mean, at one point we were doing Saturday and Sundays with 2 trucks. And then the economy crashed and I kind of moved away from all of that just because it went well. It moved away from me. I didn't move away from it. But we've since gone back and have started, pushing that commercial route because it gives one guy something to do at least for about 5 or 6 hours every single Sunday, which is good for us and it's good for him. And it's just good business. Like I said, it's the consistency. But finding those people is a lot easier because, like I said, they're local. You can talk to the general manager. You can find the owner. You can talk to them about the value that you offer. And they already know.
Absolutely. And I want you to come back onto the channel, Mike, and kind of talk to how we can have a balanced book of business because, as you mentioned before, when the economy crashed, I think you were too leveraged into commercial work. But as you mentioned, some guys who aren't busy and don't have that consistent residential business coming in, they could probably benefit from picking up some restaurants like this. So when we have you back on, I want you to talk about kind of finding a middle ground and what commercial jobs are the most profitable. But you offered some great value in this one, Mike. Every guest that comes on has to pick the word of the day. What would you like the word of the day to be?
You always stump me on this because I never have a great word of the day, but I got to preface the word of the day with the fact that we all need to be held accountable, right? Either to ourselves or to somebody that has our best interest in mind. So my word of the day is accountability.
Accountability. If you guys made it this far in the video, comment down below accountability and I'll hashtag you a real one. My name is Justin. This is Forever Self-Employed. Be sure to check out Mike's channel. Be sure to check out the Next Level course if you guys want more info on how you can get more commercial work. But until next time, hustle hard and get that money, baby. Peace.